Hello, welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health, where you get to know the efforts of NAFDAC at safeguarding the health of the nation and also get to know how to stay healthy, especially as you patronize food products, drugs, cosmetics, and other products regulated by NAFDAC. My name is Amanda Ugo, and I am your host.
On today's edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, we begin with the feature on the National Stakeholders Workshop on Trade, recently held to revamp the Nigerian export trade sector. And then we'll bring you needs of activities from NAFDAC's offices across the nation. One major issue that has been seen on the front burner among major issues of concern to NAFDAC is exports. This is because of the pivotal role this sector plays in economic development and in maintaining the nation's good image globally. More so, as Nigerian-made products exported abroad have been experiencing massive rejects from destination countries, NAFDAC has on this account been taking a lot of decisive steps to reposition the Nigerian export trade sector. These efforts have seen NAFDAC going into several partnership and consultations with sister agencies that have roles to play in the export sector. It was in this direction that the regulatory agency again recently organized a national stakeholders workshop to revamp made in Nigeria regulated products into the global market. Giving her keynote address at the workshop themed Achieving Sustainable Exports of Regulated Products, the Imperatives, the NAFDAC Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, said the workshop marked the beginning of steps towards bringing sanity to the comatose Nigerian export trade sector. She also explained the high demand for Nigerian-made goods in foreign countries.
We have commenced our ambitious journey in the direction of the much desired inter-agency collaboration and public-private sector partnership with the determination to bring in sanity into the semi-comatose regulated product export trade sector and to create a win-win future for all stakeholders. It is sad and very, very sad and surprising today that while countries struggle to promote export trade in commodities that they have comparative advantage of, we, Nigerians, have left all but left this profiting endeavor grossly unattended, leading to the unwelcome rejection of Nigerian exports in the international commerce with the attendant consequences, while we continue to remain a net importer of nearly everything we need, from raw materials to finished products. I lived in the US for 37 years, and while we were in Florida, we will do everything to go to Atlanta. We weren't living in Atlanta. We would travel to buy Nigerian products, our food. We would travel distances to buy Nigerian products. We lived last in Illinois, in Greater Chicago. Our home is about 45 miles to downtown Chicago. We would travel to go and buy yam, beans, our food. The presence and participation here today of some of these sister agencies is a testament to the hope in the great future awaiting us as we work toward going forward. As a world-class regulatory agency and one of the only 5 in Africa recognized as WHO ML3, Maturity Level 3 regulator, with internationally accredited and certified laboratories nationwide, run by a crop of highly seasoned NAFDAC staff, the agency is poised to change the narrative through the integration and incorporation of global best practices in export trade facilitation.
The NAFDAC DG also emphasized the significance of quality in enhancing export.
You cannot trade if you don't have quality. Quality and trade work side by side. You don't have quality, it's a matter of time. And it has caught up with us now. Over 70% rejection of our product. People with hard-earned money seeing the money burnt on the other side.
Professor Mojisola Adeyeye therefore expressed NAFDAC's readiness to face the seemingly odious task of putting Nigerian export sector on the desired track.
While we know that this will not be a walk in the park, we are determined to pursue this dream from an out-of-the-box approach. The immediate low-hanging incentives available to compliant exporters will include free or highly subsidized technical support for registered and cooperative exporters, free or near-free laboratory test charges, timely issuance of export certification, and licensure for registered pre-packaged products with satisfactory good manufacturing practice, good hygiene practice, and sanitary phytosanitary facilities and products, as well as support for capacity building for sustained export trade in NAFDAC regulated products, for which Nigeria has the comparative advantage. AFCFTA, African Free Trade, has started. If our products are not of quality, other countries will eagerly reject it.
Speaking earlier in his opening remarks, the Director, Port Inspection Directorate, Dr. Abimbola Adegboye, said the workshop is the start of a transformative journey towards enhancing interagency collaborations and fostering public-private sector partnership in the export trade value chain.
Our collective aim is to bring order to the somewhat unruly regulated products export trade sector and pave the way for a prosperous future for all the stakeholders.
Dr. Adegboye went on to talk about what necessities are required for Nigeria to achieve the desired exports sector.
We are driven by passion to see the fulfillment of the dream of a Nigeria where regulated products in various forms and packages are of high demand globally, generating untold wealth and acclaim to our dear country, Nigeria, and our businesses. We believe that it will be accomplished in our lifetime. This will require that we put away all real and emerging obstacles and purposely take the necessary steps and actions that will lead to the desired haven.
The Deputy Director in charge of exports in the Ports Inspection Directorate of NAFDAC, Mrs. Sanwo-Olu, in her own presentation, gave detailed explanation on export rejection and the laid-down processes and regulatory directives that exporters need to adhere to avoid rejects. Among the stakeholders represented at the workshop were the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Nigerian Customs, Nigerian Bottling Company, Neroli Technologies Limited, the Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, and so on. These stakeholders gave their goodwill messages.
On behalf of the Controller General of Customs and also the controllers of Musa Muhammad Airports Cargo and Lilliport Exports Command, we can assure you that Nigerian Customs Service will work hand in hand with all other relevant government agencies to ensure that export is done through world best practices.
The aim of this meeting is for the benefit of our country. We know there are still issues with our exports when they go out once or two occasions, and we will use this kind of opportunity to drill down and find out how we put this to a zero level.
We are happy to be a part of this occasion, and we strongly believe that having this kind of forum will certainly drive home the much needed growth and development of our nation's economy.
Honestly, the issue of compliance with the data you read on rejections and failed exports, this particular gathering is just about time that we face each other and told ourselves the truth, and then to look at how we can move Nigeria forward, because we can all see that I don't see a better group of people that can change what is happening in Nigeria than this group of export stakeholders, because we've seen how the exchange rate issue has played out over the last maybe few years, and what could be responsible other than the fact that, if we were able to get export right, we would have solved most of our problem.
Because most often when we visit our exporters, they're always complaining about NAFDAC compliance being too stringent, NAFDAC compliance being able to meet, but this is an avenue now for us to rub minds together. In our presentations, we are going to bring us necessary ethics on how to go about this, which at the end of the day we believe is going to reduce the incidences of export reject, which has been the pain of our export in Nigeria.
There was also an interactive session where salient issues were raised and discussed.
NAFDAC and Your Health continues after this short break.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You're still watching NAFDAC and Your Health.
The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has intensified efforts to protect the health of Nigerians by conducting a week-long enforcement and sensitization operation in Kogi State. During the operation, which was led by the Director, NAFDAC North Central Zone, Malam Shaba Mohammed, a total of 4 factories were sealed because of poor good manufacturing practice that could endanger public health. Malam Shaba Mohammed disclosed that NAFDAC enforcement team undertook operational visits to several manufacturing facilities, including producers of vegetable oil, bakeries, sachet and bottled water companies, pharmaceutical outlets, and patent medicine stores. The NAFDAC General Director said the 4 factories sealed were 2 vegetable oil manufacturing companies and a water-producing factory of sachet and bottled water, all in Lokoja, while a sachet water plant was sealed in Kaba area of the state. The General Director explained that the agency's mission has been championed by Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye was to protect and promote public health by instituting an effective and efficient regulatory system. This, he said, would ensure that only the right quality food, drugs and other regulated products were manufactured, exported, imported, advertised, distributed and sold to the public. He assured that the organization would not fold its hands and allow the manufacturing of unauthorized and unregulated products to be sold to Nigerians for consumption, even if the facility has been previously registered. He enjoined the public to be vigilant and patronize only NAFDAC-registered products, and also report violations such as the sale of expired, damaged or adulterated products. The public, he counseled, should also report violations such as clandestine change of expiry dates on products, counterfeiting, faking and falsification of packaged food, drugs, bottled drinks and other regulated products to the nearest NAFDAC office. The NAFDAC Zonal Director cautioned persons involved in the nefarious act of manufacturing and selling of unwholesome products to desist from these acts, as appropriate sanctions will be applied to offenders. The investigation and enforcement team of NAFDAC in Ebonyi State has raided shops where unregistered veterinary medicines are sold in Afikpo local government area of the state. The raid was led by Mr. Martins Iluyomade, the Southeast Zonal Director of NAFDAC. 10 shops were targeted, resulting in the shutdown of a shop and evacuation of the violating products. Cartons of veterinary medicines, which included antimicrobial drugs, anti-inflammatory drugs, growth promoters and antiparasitic drugs were evacuated. The shop owner was later invited for further investigation. In Ota, Ogun State, 2 unregistered production factories have been shut down by the investigation and enforcement team of NAFDAC. One of these factories is an unregistered water production facility, while the other is an unregistered chin-chin production factory operating in an uncompleted building. The office of NAFDAC in Ota has however warned other producers of unregistered products in the area to desist from the act, as the agency is on the lookout and will find them out soon. The Northwest Zonal Director of NAFDAC, Mrs. Josephine Abbas, has urged manufacturers to ensure that Nigerians consume only wholesome products for good health. This call was made at a one-day stakeholders forum organized by the agency in Sokoto recently. Mrs. Abbas described the gathering as a major milestone in protecting people against the effect of unwholesome foods, falsified medical products, dangerous cosmetics, water quality and other substandard regulated products. She added that the objective is to intensify and expand the scope of informal and formal behavior and change communication strategies to reach out to vulnerable communities, especially at the grassroots. According to Mrs. Abbas, propagation of food and drug safety information is an important aspect of NAFDAC's regulatory work. Well-informed and educated citizenry is the bedrock of effective regulation. Speaking further, she said getting feedback from NAFDAC stakeholders is key. The agency's multi-year review of its guidelines, regulations and laws governing the operations of the stakeholders. She said the agency would ensure that Nigerians consume only products that had been registered and certified by it as the leading regulator of products. Stakeholders at the meeting had ample time to ask questions, and the director provided satisfactory, frank and impressive answers. He also visited the New Kebbi State office nearing completion. In its continued move to rid the society of fake, unregistered and adulterated regulated products, NAFDAC recently raided Area 1 Park, Dede and Dunamis markets in Abuja, where 11 suspects who engaged in the selling of unregistered drugs were arrested with the street market value of the seized products put at between 67 and 80 million naira. The raid of the Abuja market was prompted by petitions from stakeholders that there has been an upsurge of hawking of drugs in public places such as streets, inside commercial buses, motor parks and marketplaces within the Federal Capital Territory. This, according to the petitioners, to the health of the public.
Even if they are registered, you are not supposed to hawk registered products. So forget about retailers. We don't have any issue with retailers. We don't have retailers. If you're talking about retailers, you're talking about better medicine shops and pharmaceutical outlets, which we regulate very well. We don't have much issues with them. But these ones that hawk, these are the ones that the federal government law says is banned. You cannot do hawking of any kind of drug.
Some of the suspects arrested expressed their ignorance on the dangers of hawking of drugs and the reasons for their arrest. The NAFDAC team said all the seized products will be destroyed and called on Nigerians to desist from patronizing street hawkers of drugs. In Nigerian, Nasarawa State, The investigation and enforcement team of NAFDAC last week got wind of an unapproved bakery operating in a very unhygienic environment with abysmal production procedures. It was quite amazing that some people could produce something meant for human consumption in such a filthy environment. The unapproved bakery has been shut down while the operator is billed to face the wrath of the law. That was NAFDAC Update. You have been updated.
This is how far we can go on this edition of NAFDAC and Your Health. We'll be back again with another insightful package, same time, same station next week. If you have complaints, questions, or comments, we'll be glad to have them.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Importing, producing, distributing, marketing, and selling of unwholesome food products, drugs, cosmetics, chemicals, and medical equipment are criminal acts that put the health of the country at risk. Do not engage in these acts so we can have a healthy nation. Till we'll come your way again next week, stay safe.